Hi everyone, Dr. Quinn here. I'm going to go over the information and an overview for week 4. So I'm always trying to show you the way that I navigate the class. And I know there's multiple ways around Leo, but I'm just going to content and right down to week 4. You'll see that we have a week 4 overview here, and then we've got the learning resources, the discussions, and the assignments. And so if we click on the learning resources, you'll see that there's just one quick page of it. You click on page 1, learning resources, and then you've got this set of materials on the PARC concepts: proximity, alignment, repetition, and contrast. And of course, because I've extended the deadline to writing assignment 2, you can still really use the information from these PARC concepts and consider them in your document design, not just for writing assignment 2, but for all of the major assignments to come, including working on your resume and cover letter materials. Okay, so video information on the 7th edition of APA, because in writing assignment 4, you will be doing a hybrid assignment that's a blend of academic style writing and professional writing, which will include some academic research. And then, of course, we've got a tutorial on common resume sections. What you'll find when your classmates start talking about their materials in upcoming weeks is that there's going to be a lot of variety. Some students are already in their field. They have these extensive application materials, multi-page resumes and cover letters related to the field in question, and they're at mid-tier or higher end tier for the jobs they're applying for. We also have some students in class who are job switching, meaning that they perhaps spent 20 years in the military and now they're leaving that MOS behind and they're coming to UMGC, and they're about to do something brand new. And so they may have a long resume, but that particular resume from prior experiences may not apply to the current one. And so you're going to see a lot of discussion about different resume sections and all of that. So keep that in mind. And of course, we have the video here about a memo. A memo is another type of like professional document. Imagine it's like an email with the date, the to, the from, the subject. And memos are particularly short. I don't want to see a long memo. 150 words or less would be perfect, and the memo would be attached to writing assignment number 4. Under the discussions for week 4, you'll notice that we've got writing assignment 5 coming up. It's just a heads up for when you are going to prepare a resume and cover letter. Even if you're not going to apply for a job, it's using those concepts on documents that will directly and immediately benefit you. So that's what that practice is for, sort of going back to ourselves and how can we take information from this class and directly apply it to the materials we may use in self-promotion. Okay, so the first discussion you've got here is thinking about, like, looking at that assignment overview and just sort of going over it. I double-checked this link, and I've made sure that it does work, the unspoken skill gap in the cybersecurity market, so you can check that. And then the second one is talking about the memo itself. And you, in those learning resources, have that little quick 2-3 minute video on memos. And of course, I'll be giving the students feedback on that as well. Okay, I want to just double check that all of these links work really quickly. And they did, and that's fantastic. Okay, so let's now take a look at those week 4 assignments. Now, at the end of week 4, you've got this quick start guide. We're going to take a look at it together now. And I think if you've already gotten feedback on writing assignment 2's draft, you'll be able to more easily conceptualize what writing assignment 3, the quick start guide, is asking that you do here. So we're going to take a look at it. I'm just going to go into the overview first. Quick start guide is 1 page. What this is a condensing of your instructions. And so when you're writing the instructions documents and you're thinking about the different personas and how you can accommodate them, that's a multi-page document that has a title, it has an intro to the business, and it's got all the steps, and it also has incorporated images and notes, and at the end of it, it's got the how were the personas accommodated. Like, how did you create these distinct personalities in users who have both goals and pain points, and address that in that document, the widest users you can. Then we move on to the quick start guide, which is a 1-page document. And in this video, or not in this video, in this announcement, I'm going to attach a sample of one that I've created that's just super basic. And the idea is that now we forget the personas for writing assignment 3. We don't need labeled images. You don't need 50 images. It's just, how do you get the most basic steps covered if it's ordering just a meal at a restaurant, if it's ordering just a book from the library, and so on and so forth. So just a couple of steps. And a quick start guide is meant to be more of a reference for people who have used the site before. So you'll see this overview and it's going to go over it. The graphics don't need to be labeled. You want to include, I always tell students, at least 2 graphics, but don't overwhelm the graphics. And based on like the feedback I will give you in writing assignment 2, the graphics still need to be big enough to be legible, right? 2 to 3 to 4 maybe. That'll be fine. Okay, so we've got some resources in here, and you can, of course, see the resources in the content for week 3, so you can go back and look at that. And note, this weekend, I will I'll have an email that comes out before the weekend that will let you know that I'll be accepting drafts of writing assignment 3, like I have 1 and 2, if you want some early feedback before anything gets graded. So you'll be able to go over that and take a look at it. In addition, you'll notice that it's actually fairly simplified, the grading mechanism for this. And so the rubric shows that, did you introduce the instructions briefly, like in a sentence? It doesn't have to be long and labored. It's just a point. The document is 1 page. That's 10%, I think 10-ish% of the assignment value, or 20% in this case. The quality and originality of the graphics. You don't want blurry images, and you don't want them to be like tiny thumbnails that are so small that we can't read them. They still have to be functional, okay? Then, of course, you still have a list of steps. Your steps are numbered. The steps provide clear instructions, and it doesn't need to be long steps. It should be like, click menu, choose dinner. You know, you get the picture, I'm sure. Language choices, even though there's not a lot of writing on the Quick Start Guide, you're going to want to make sure that you proofread it, that you make sure that if you're writing these steps in full sentences, as I would recommend that you do, you use punctuation, that you properly capitalize, and so on and so forth. And then document design, those PARC concepts. Does the document look good? Let me show you an example. This is a Quick Start Guide. I'm going to show you the entirety of the page, and that's it. It's super, it's basic, it's to the point. I included, this is a restaurant that's in the town that I live in, and it has a title. You don't have to have like the little image there, but if you want to, you can. 4 actual images in relation to the steps. It has an intro. I like personally, and it's not that you have to follow this, but an example of, you see this left alignment with the steps that go down this way? And then you've got the images on a left border alignment as well. I guess you could center these if you wanted to. You could also blow this one up. I think I saved this as a PDF. You'll notice that sometimes I'm mirroring the color of and the capitalization of an action step. You see the imperatives, click, choose, click, make, and choose. Check out really this is a full sentence, right? Because the implied subject is you. It really should have a period there, so I should have fixed that. Nobody's perfect. But you'll notice that there's a purposefulness to this design. And if you set it up with steps on the left and images on the right, you don't actually have to have an image for every step. That's not really required, but something like this is a zoom in screenshot of a partial page. And if I go to like 100%, I probably, I can read this one a little bit better now. I do believe I've got space on the page. So if this was a student document, I would more than likely say, hey, why don't we just stretch this guy a little bit bigger, make that bigger, and then the font's really legible. So those are like the little types of feedback that I like to give. But if I saw something like this, I'd be really pleased with it. It takes those long instructions documents and it just condenses it into, here's a reminder of how to do the basic thing on the website. So that's what we'll be working on this week. You'll be submitting your writing assignment 2. And then if you, of course, are working on a draft and want feedback, you can do that over the weekend. Take a look at the assignment deadline dates just to make sure that you've got them in your own calendars and you know when things are due. And remember, you've got 2 discussion boards this week. Main post on Friday and response to peer by Sunday. I look forward to seeing your work, and I hope that you reach out if you have any questions.